Hello and welcome back to Here's My Garden, the hopefully inspirational gardening channel where my main goal is just try to get more people to grow their own food. More delicious, simple, easy to do. Um, some people may be wondering, gardening channel, I haven't really done any gardening yet, my first few episodes. It's because I don't have much gardening to do at the moment. Unfortunately for you, I got my garden in early and right now it's just kind of in a state where I'm just watching things grow. That's about to change. I got some weeding and some pruning to do, but it's not too late for you. You can go to any of your major garden centers and you can pick up a pot, a tomato plant, a bag of dirt, and that's all you need. And I'm going to give you an example here. We kind of call this our salsa garden. So I've got a tomato. Now if you're using salsa, you can get bruschetta out of this in the system I have here, which is basically a tomato and then herbs. Let me turn you around here. We've got the herbs planted around here. Here's oregano, some basil, cilantro, and then the tomato, all in one pot. You can put this easily on your patio. I actually have cherry tomatoes going on this one. Maybe not the best thing you want to use if you're making salsa, because that's a lot of cutting you got to do. But yeah, all you need is a pot, some dirt, a plant. Yeah, it might run you a little bit of money, the first investment. Oh, a tomato cage. You might want to use a tomato cage. I would recommend using a tomato cage. I use these kind here because that's what came with the house. So that's what I got. But it's really that simple. You got your tomatoes, your basil, throw in some olive oil, balsamic vinegar, you got bruschetta, fresh mozzarella, do a caprese salad, some cilantro. My cilantro's actually been going for so long already, it's now coriander. If you didn't know that, that's what cilantro is, the leaves, coriander is the seeds. But I've got more going out in the garden. And you don't need a super sunny spot. Some people think that they need to have, oh, you know what, I don't get sun from sun up to sundown. You don't need sun up from sundown. That pot actually goes right here on the patio. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun is just starting to hit these plants. I've got a Tabasco plant. There's another tomato there, the rose in the background. The sun's barely hitting these guys. And it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I don't know, does that look unhealthy to you? I don't think it looks unhealthy to me. So, seriously, one pot, you could, put your favorite kind of tomato. If you do want to do salsa, I recommend doing Roma, what they call plum tomatoes. That's always a big one. But again, there's so many flavorful dishes you can get out of just right here. It's all right here. Now, I do want to throw this in. So basil. A lot of people, they're not quite sure what they want to do with it. My basil, even when I'm not using it, pick it and I throw it away. Because right now, that right there, where I broke that off, that one shoot is going to turn into two. And I'll keep doing that, and I'll keep doing that. And by the end of the season, I'm going to have a basil bush. So there you go. It really is that simple. And you don't need to go buy an expensive pot. A 5-gallon bucket. A 5-gallon bucket. If you use a bucket, I would recommend putting some holes in the bottom for some drainage. Something more like this. Maybe not so much for a tomato, but still, you could grow a hot pepper in that. Right on your patio. You don't have to have all day sun. A lot of vegetables, they recommend full sun. That doesn't necessarily mean sun up to sundown. That's more or less what my garden gets out in the yard. But that's just my garden out in the yard. I didn't start with my garden out in the yard. I started at my old house where all I could grow was patio. I mentioned in my lettuce video, I had 2 window boxes and some romaine lettuce. A friend of mine talked me into doing that. Said, you won't he said, just do it. You won't regret it. So, yeah. And then I I threw some onions in. Next thing I know, I've got a planter with a hot pepper in it. This was just out in my patio. I will say this, when you are patio gardening and you're using pots, you may have to water a couple times a day. When it gets real hot, you may have to water in the morning and in the evening. Super hot days, if you're in a super sunny location, you may even have to water 3 times a day. So once in the morning, midday, in the evening. As far as dirt and fertilizing, stuff like that, so you go and just buy a bag of dirt. That's all you really need. There's all kinds of fancy, potting soils. A nice potting soil is an excellent choice. That's actually what I do buy for my pots, but you don't really need to. You can buy organic fertilizers or different types of granular fertilizer to mix in. I'm not going to name any brands because if they're not paying, I'm not saying. But a liquid fertilizer. I actually do a mix of both, organic fertilizer in the soil, and I do water with a liquid fertilizer from time to time. But if you're trying to fill a big pot, I have a recommendation. And you're going to buy like the expensive garden soil. I've got some like moisture retention pots going that I started this year. Something new I'm trying to see how it works out. And they definitely need to be watered less than some of the other ones. So, but it wasn't cheap. But I was blessed with the fact that my neighbor put in a new pool and a deck over here and had a big pile of dirt in his backyard. And he let me take some dirt. So I filled the pots half full with just some dirt out of this guy's yard and then put the nice soil on top. Kind of mixed it up a little bit, but that's all you need. If you are going to try to fill a big pot and you want to buy the expensive soil, buy a bag of cheap soil and put that on the bottom. You don't need to fill that entire pot with, $8, $9 a bag expensive potting soil. So hopefully there's a tip in there that you can use. Like I said, it's so easy, and you really can't beat it. All I smell is cilantro right now. Oh, I love it. So later on down the line, we may actually get into some of the stuff we actually cook with this. Here's my garden. I hope to someday see yours.